So we're going to do a walk around video of our Lotus Trooper Caravan. This is the first time we've done a walk around of one of our caravans. It's our third caravan, but we decided it was about time that we gave you a look at what we've done, how we've made it ours, how we've customised it, you know, and how we plan on travelling Australia. So come on over and let's check it out. So we'll start at the front like probably most walk-arounds. We're running a DO45 hitch. We've had these on all of our caravans. I think they're amazing. They're probably one of the easiest hitches to hitch up to. And if you've got a rear view camera, it's just nice and easy. You can really save with the arguments with the wife, if you know what I mean, trying to back it up. As you can see, we run a Gen Y hitch. Once again, this is something that is new for this vehicle for us, and once again I think that's amazing. It's a really great tool. It takes out the shock between the caravan and the car. So on our previous vehicle you'd hit a bump and there's just like a hard bang almost, or just a hard thud through the back of the car, whereas this takes some of that pressure out of the connection and gives you a much more, I believe, safer ride and more comfortable ride. So being a heavier van, this is 4.5 tonne GVM rated. So we've got the heavier chains, which unfortunately can't be galvanised, so they tend to rust, so they're painted here. This is our camera connection, which I'll talk about a bit later, because we've actually got a special camera on the back of the Lotus, which is tied into the Chevy and works through the dash and so on. This little fellow here is our jack. Now, for $600 odd, this is one of the best investments you can make, in my opinion, if you've got a bad back like I used to. This stays on and it's electric, right? As you can see, it's just dropping down at the touch of a button. It's a bit of a slow process, but once it gets down, it lifts up the caravan. You don't have to put your back into it, hard work into it. You don't have to mount a jockey wheel, which I always found to be a bit of a pain. So for $600, I reckon this is a great little investment. Moving back here, this is an addition to the van for us. This is an I-side bike rack. That's only half of it. There's actually another bit that goes up here and it takes 4 bikes. Quite comfortably takes our e-bikes. We have Merida e-bikes, which are quite heavy. They're about 30 kilos each. And it takes all of our bikes, it can take 4 bikes with ease. The benefit of this too is also the fact that it detaches. There's an attachment to the back of the car, so when you arrive at your destination, you actually put a different tow hitch in, and then that connects straight to the back of the car. Standard stuff, 2 gas bottles, 9 kilo each. We have our toolboxes here, or storage boxes. We keep our barbecue on this side, and we keep all of our hoses and all those sorts of things over there. There's also a generator slide there. As you can see, we've got our Starlink, which sits up on top of the car when we have this bracket on, or when we're sitting when we're at a site for a longer period of time. I've got a flagpole which I put in here, and the Starlink sits at the top of the flagpole, which is great. So moving down the passenger side of the caravan, we have our tunnel boot, which we've had a custom kitchen installed. Okay, it's just a fold out. We can put our barbecue on here. We've got a cooker here, and obviously it just means you can be outside where the party's happening when you're cooking and so on. You don't have to be inside missing out. When this is stowed, we put our chairs on here and it stows away nicely. Okay, as we go down the side, we've got a picnic table. We've actually got 2 picnic tables. They're just really handy for putting things on. Down here we have the controller for our air suspension. Now this is probably one of my favourite features on the caravan. In our first caravan we didn't have it, our second caravan we did, and now our third caravan we've also got it. I wouldn't get a caravan without air suspension, and quite simply the benefits are that if you want to adjust up one side, as you can see this side is lifting, or I can go back down, and we can level the van out nicely. In 2.5 years of having air suspension, I've never had to use wheel chocks, and that's only going to be a good thing. Next to that we have our entertainment unit, so we have a stereo system outside, we have another unit inside, and we also have one beside the bed. We can plug our TV in here, and we have USB charging and USB-C charging as well. Alright, so moving along, we have our second picnic table, and as I mentioned, just a great space to put drinks, put nibblies and all that sort of stuff when you're outside. You can never have enough storage space, I reckon. Here we have a 240 outlet, so we can run 240 volt items. We have storage underneath there. As we move around the back. So as I mentioned up the front, this is our rear view camera. Our van is 16.5 metres long, and you obviously can't see behind you. I personally think all caravans and all trucks should have rear view cameras, just that added bit of safety. Now this one is a Chevy or Chevrolet Silverado specific camera, and that runs right through, connects into the back of the Silverado and displays on our dash. When we indicate, we can get views right down the side of the caravan. When we're reversing, we can see out the back. We can obviously see out the back when we're driving and so on. But it all comes up nicely in the dash. We don't need to put a monitor on top of the dash or on the windscreen. Just one less thing to have in there, less cables. It's a nice little setup. Jerry can holders, wood holders, that's our navigator bag. These are great, we love this. We put all our rubbish and things like that in there. So if we want to have a bit of a look down here, we have 5 water tanks that is. It's meant to be 400 litres, but it's actually 5 tanks totaling up to almost 400 litres. We've got 395s and 250s. So we have 5 water tanks, 395 litres and 250 litre tanks. We've opted to get rid of our grey water tank. We don't have grey water. The reason for that is they're generally about 50 litres. I think they're a waste of time. You cannot hold enough water in them for them to be practical, in my opinion, especially if you're sitting somewhere for a long period of time. And you can buy portable grey water tanks around the same size for about $100, $150. That's what we'll do if we go to parks where we have to hold our grey water. The benefit of that is too, we can then chuck that in the back of the car and we can take it and dispose of that grey water, whereas we'd have to hook up the van, take the van somewhere and dispose of that grey water. Big pain in the ass if you ask me. So these are for our 4 tanks, and we also have instantaneous hot water, gas hot water, and the big drawback with that, I mean the positive is obviously you've got endless hot water, which is fantastic, but the drawback is that you waste a lot of water waiting for it to get hot. So we have an enviro valve, and that enviro valve allows the cold water to divert back into the tank until it gets hot. So when the water's hot enough, it then diverts to the tap that we're using. You'll see in here, okay, it says tank 2. That tap diverts the water to tank 2. If I turn it back this way, it goes to waste. So we're going to save all that water. Now, funny enough, this weekend we've been camped for 4 nights, and we ran out of water. And it was because I forgot to change that to tank 2. So as we thought we were saving water, we weren't. We're actually wasting our water. So that's one thing you got to remember. But obviously, in the end, if you can save that water, it's a big benefit. Moving over to here, this is our... So moving along here, we have our SOG system. It's the first time we've had one of these on this caravan. We didn't have it on the previous caravans. It's fantastic, and what it does basically is, you may be familiar with the cassettes in the toilets inside. You pull the little lever out, it opens the hole, you sit on the toilet, you do your business. When you pull the lever out, this activates a little fan and actually sucks all the air inside the cassette and brings it out here, so there's no smell. It works really well. Outdoor shower, you've all seen those before. Venting for our refrigerator. Here's our tank fillers, as we said, 5, tank 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, these 2 are 50 litres. Now this is probably one of my other favourite features of this van, and this was an idea that we stole from roaming in a Ram, so thank you very much guys. But this is how we get our Starlink out from inside. Now if you can see that, it's literally just an electrical type socket that's been cut out, the cord passes through, we can close that down. But inside, when we're not using the Starlink, we have a little plug which we put in there which makes it weatherproof. We then run that, as I said before, to the car or to the flagpole, and there's nothing getting in there. This is our gas hot water, and finally our other side of our tunnel boot, which is all storage. So that almost concludes the exterior of our van. Something we did forget to tell you at the beginning, we have a window at the front. That's not standard on the Lotus Caravans. We've had that now on all three of our vans and we love it. The amount of airflow that you get through your van having that window is incredible. It completely changes the feel inside the van. Now the only downside is they tend to leak, but that's in my opinion because they're never installed properly. Now we're going to take you inside. We'll have a look at some of the features inside our van, and I'll hand you over to my lovely wife who's right now behind the camera.
Hi guys. So let me walk you through a few things what we have in this van. As Chris mentioned, it's our third van, so we kind of learn a few things what we liked, what we didn't like in the previous vans. So this is bed southwest something.
North south.
It's a bed north south. For me, it's not negotiable thing because we both like to have some space. This was Chris's biggest thing, our side tables that we could put a cup of coffee or drink while we're watching telly. Storage as in most of the caravans. Front window, this is the most fantastic thing. In the morning we open the window and the fresh breeze, we really love it. Under the bed we have plenty of storage and the gas heater as well, which is fantastic. As everyone knows, I don't like cold, so for me it's a big deal. Sirocco fans, and this time we have our hatch right above the bed. I think it's great because the wind comes in, you know, more fresh air, and I love sunshine, so right in front of you. Big change what we have in this van is our coffee lounge, where before we just had a long seat and a table this way, and we could struggle to go inside, where this time this table can open and we can comfortably sit. Dusty and I sit here, Chris is there, and it's plenty of room for us. Chris showed you the Starlink from outside, so this is where our Starlink cables go. In this van I decided to have a microwave. We didn't have in previous vans, but I think especially with Dusty and still drinking his milk always warm, it's very convenient to just on a road stop put some food or milk and warm it up. It roasts everyone. We have decided to have knives and we absolutely love it. Holds perfectly well. I don't know what Chris did, but holds perfectly well. And this is Chris's toy coffee machine. I was not very happy, it takes a lot of room, but he makes a good coffee, so this is great. We have stove and we have grill and oven. This thing I probably would change in the next van. I don't really use grill and oven, but it is what it is. I still use it as a storage and sometimes it gets useful. How many liters, I don't know, Chris will tell. But yeah, this fridge is as big as you can get probably in a van, and we absolutely love it because we can store more food. I think freezer is exactly the same as the previous one, but fridge has way more room, which is really, really handy. You know, when we're on a longer trips, you always need more food. Pantry and slide out pantry. which I love. We can stuff over bottles, no problems at all. I'll probably take you to dust this area. So this is a big thing for me. I literally cried before we had cabinetry above and dust this bed just there. This time we started to go with double bunk. At the beginning I didn't like at all, but now it's really handy because we can store a lot of stuff, and if one day Dusty will decide to have friends, they can stay over with Dusty. Sirocco fans, and we have on both bunks TV inputs, whatever it's called. But Dusty one day maybe will be spoiled and have some TV. We do not have a washing machine. I don't know is it good or not. We will learn while we're traveling. But I just wanted more storage. And this is Dusty's toy storage. Shower and a toilet as usual. Enough space, enough room for everything. Our color scheme this time a little bit different. We decided to go with, we had grey before, but we decided to change into brown, and as Chris calls, a cigar lounge. So our rugs, they're really good because you can just wash them. You can't see any dirt and anything like that. I think now Chris can tell more about electrical stuff.
Right, yeah, so as Ingrid said, our inspiration for our colour schemes was kind of like a whiskey bar, cigar lounge type feel. You know, those sort of soft browns, the cowhides, and a bit of a darker colour scheme. We think we nailed it, we love it. So moving on to some of the electrical stuff, we use the Red Vision by Red Arc system here, which controls all of our lights. We can also see our water tanks and all that sort of stuff, which are getting very low. We have under the cafe lounge, we have 600 amp hour lithium batteries, they're Enerdrive batteries. Yeah, so under this lounge we have the big Enerdrive inverter. I think it's a 3000 watt inverter with Enerdrive. We find 600 amp hours to be heaps of power. We've never run out so far. We've had this fan now for, what, about 4 or 5 months. Our previous fan, we only had 400 amp hours of batteries, so we've gone up 50% obviously, and yeah, so far it's fantastic. The controls for our inverter, everything sits up here. The Red Arc system, all your fuses and all that sort of stuff. Got our hot water, pumps, aircon, fridge, master switches, inverter on and off. We've got up on top of the van, we have 800 watt of solar, I believe, so it's 4 200 watt panels. We probably will get another one put on. You can never have enough solar in my opinion, and you can never have enough batteries, assuming you can cough up for them, as they're not cheap. And speaking of up top, this is our Caravan. So this is our dust reduction system. So we hit a dirt road and we can control this through our Red Vision from my phone while we're driving. We can turn this on, it pressurizes the cabin and stops the dust coming in. We have aircon back here, it's the Dometic Harrier system, and we don't really use it that much, to be honest. We've used it once, and that was out at Tamworth. It was stinking hot, but as a rule we're not real aircon sort of people. Plenty of windows, and with that front window, like I said, we can open it all up. We've got our stereo system up here, and then inside of here we've got some junk, but we have things like our Apple TV and all our plugs and things for the TV system and so on. And speaking of that, over here we have a charging area. So this is all our sort of GoPros and all that sort of stuff, and we've got USB plugs in there, 240 volts. We can charge everything, leave it in the cabinet while we're driving and so on. I think that just about concludes the tour of our van. We feel free to ask us any questions if you wish. Leave the comments down below. We will respond to everybody. We'd really love it if you could like the video and subscribe. We're just getting started in these videos, and obviously the more people that interact with us, like our videos, it's going to really help us grow and so on. Our next video that we're going to be putting up is going to be a video about us. and we're going to basically introduce ourselves because we've never done it. We kind of just fell into doing our YouTube videos, as probably most people do. Now we want to get a bit more serious with it, so we're going to put a little video up about who Ingrid and I are, what we're doing, what are our future plans. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and hopefully we see you somewhere, not on the blacktop, but somewhere remote in a cool sand spot. If you do, feel free to come see.